Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's Sunday preview. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Sunday preview. Prepare to enter the world of legend. Welcome to the end of 2023. With the new year just over the horizon, it's time to look at the first miniatures, books, and more that you'll be able to pre-order in the future, albeit the very near future, especially the 6th of January. Paradoxically, you'll be returning to the past in the world of legend, as Warhammer the Old World arrives with banners flying and horns blowing. Alright, so here we have it officially, Warhammer the Old World. If you're starting your journey into the Old World from scratch, the two immense starter sets are your best jumping on point. Each contains everything you need to start playing Battles of Warhammer, the Old World, with the exception of the battlefield and an opponent. They wouldn't fit in the box. Okay, so first we have Warhammer the Old World Core Set Kingdom of Bretonnia Edition. So a massive new launch box with a full Bretonnian army inside. Very nice. The chivalrous knights of Bretonnia and their peasant followers march to battle in this set with 76 plastic Citadel miniatures, 75 of them returning classics, with a brand new Lord of Bretonnia on Royal Pegasus leading them. Joined by the core rulebook, a reference sheet, dice templates, measuring sticks, and a transfer sheet. Alright, so interesting choice here. So we've got a brand new box with 75 returning miniatures and one new one. And then of course we got the rulebook and the other little basic game aids. So I think it's very clear at this point in time that these boxes are aimed at like two main groups of people. One, whales, people that are looking to just pick up big boxes all at once regardless of price. And then obviously with 75 out of 76 returning miniatures, I think it's very clear that they're going after people that already have like armies for the old world. So not necessarily as much new players, because new players are going to be much more drawn towards the actual new models. But clearly they're going after people that were already interested in the game or are interested in a new version of the old game, which is cool. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I talked about my idea about essentially having two different main situations. One where you have like all the new stuff, all the cool new models coming out, and that's like your 40K and your Sigmar and like the FOMO marketing and all that good stuff. And then also we have like, you know, what amounts to like the older gamers, the more classic, less changes to the actual game, less models coming out on the regular. And that's going to be your Horus Heresy / Warhammer Old World. And I think that's a good idea because I think there's people that are interested in both. There's people that want the fresh new thing, the brand new miniatures, the excitement, the FOMO. And then there's people that want the less changes, the classic stuff, but still want access with their old miniatures, with their old games, without all these new changes. So it looks like Games Workshop is going that route. Obviously, over time, we'll see if that's correct. But I think at this point in time, it's very clear that this game and the sales from this game are to be directed at Games Workshop themselves, not nearly as much at the actual like middleman or like your friendly local game stores, because it's not like they're going to be putting these old ranges, these specialized models, the Forge World characters and stuff like that on the shelves. This stuff is going to be mostly direct from Games Workshop type stuff. So very cool, big new box, super exciting. I'll be interested to see if they're going to wait to release the actual rules individually as well. I'm sure we'll know very quickly in this article. Alright, and then next we have the Warhammer Old World Core Set Tomb Kings of Khemri Edition. So we already got the leak on this box set. Very nice, big and chunky, and very much a mirror of the Bretonnian box we just saw. If your tastes run more towards the desert sands and endless ranks of skeleton warriors, check out the Tomb Kings of Khemri box set, which contains the same game aids minus the transfers alongside 93 classic Citadel miniatures, two of which are new, a Tomb Prince and a Lich Priest riding a huge Necrolith bone dragon. Already have an army on square bases from yesteryears past ready to take on the battlefield? You want to grab the new rules separately. Okay, so there's our answer right there. Very cool. And I know there's a lot of people that were curious if the actual base sizes are changing, so hopefully they address that in this article as well. Warhammer the Old World Rulebook, Forces of Fantasy, and Ravening Hordes. This trio of hardback tomes are the ideal way to bring your armies back to the battlefields of the Old World. The rulebook's 352 pages are packed with lore about the world of legends, and all the rules for the game, from maneuvering your blocks of troops and fighting in vicious combat, to harnessing the winds of magic and linking your battles into epic campaigns. Forces of Fantasy, meanwhile, contains army lists for those on the side of good, the Dwarven Mountain Holds, the Empire of Man, the Kingdom of Bretonnia, the Wood Elf Realms, the High Elf Realms. Each has profiles for every unit in the army, plus special rules for the faction, unique spells, magic items, and more, alongside showcase of beautiful painted Citadel miniatures. Ravening Hordes does the same job for the monstrous forces of evil, covering the Orc and Goblin tribes, the Warriors of Chaos, the Beastmen Bray Herds, and the Tomb Kings of Khemri. Alright, so a lot of answers to our questions right there. Very cool. And this is going to be a 3-book set. It looks like the Rulebook, the Forces of Fantasy, and the Ravening Hordes. Alright, and then we have the Arcane Journal, Kingdom of Bretonnia. Devotees of the Lady of the Lakes can supplement the Grand Army list and Forces of Fantasy with the Arcane Journal, Kingdom of Bretonnia. This paperback volume delves further into the background of the Land of Chivalry, as well as adding a plethora of new rules content, including 3 heroes of legend and 2 armies of infantry based around Errantine Crusades and Exiled Knights, giving you more ways to play with your Bretonnian collection. Alongside the Arcane Journal, you'll be able to pre-order a range of Bretonnian models in plastic, metal, and Forge World resin. Okay, great. So basically looks like they're doing a massive Warhammer Old World drop. Alright, so we have the Battle Standard Bearer on Royal Pegasus. And then we have our Pegasus Knights and Grail Knights and Grail Knight Command. And then we have Battle Pilgrims and Grail Reliquae. Next is Mountain Yeomen and Mounted Yeomen Command. And then we have our Handmaiden of the Lady. And we have Battle Standard Bearer on foot and mounted. And then we have the Questing Knight Paladin with great weapon. And then we have Kingdom of Bretonnia reference cards and dice. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. And then on to the Arcane Journal, Tomb Kings of Khemri. Expand your Tomb Kings of Khemri army beyond ravaging hordes with this paperback Arcane Journal, featuring rules for the magic items and 3 heroes of the dead, including the iconic first Tomb King, Cetra the Imperishable. And you can also theme your army around 2 armies of infantry, the Hekarn royal hosts of the Mortuary Cult, each with its own unique units, which have full profiles in the book. You'll also learn more about the Tomb Kings, their history, and the sinister land of the dead from which they hail. Alright, so first we have the Tomb Guard, and then we have the Sepulchral Stalkers and Necropolis Knights, an alternative build for the kit. And then we see the Necro Sphinx, alternatively built as the Khemrian War Sphinx. And then we have Cetra the Imperishable. And next we have the Lich Priest. And then we have our Ushabti. And then alternatively with the bows. Then we have our Tomb King, followed by the Battle Standard Bearer. Then we have some Tomb Swarms. And then the Tomb Kings of Khemri reference cards and dice. And then we have the Warhammer the Old World dice set, Lore of Magic reference cards, Common Magic item reference cards, and card sleeves. And then finally some bases and modular movement trays. We have 25, 30, 40, 50, 25 by 50, 30 by 60, 40 by 60, 50 by 75, 50 by 100, 60 by 100, and then the massive 150 by 100 millimeter rectangular base. Warhammer the Old World uses square and rectangular bases, many of them larger than those used by previous edition iterations of the game of fantasy battles. If you want to rebase your venerable forces of the new Old World, you'll want to pick up some of these sets. There are 11 packs to choose from, which every variation of base you could need, from 25mm squares to infantry all the way up to 100 by 150mm rectangles for the very largest of monsters. Alright, so yeah, definitely getting a lot of those answers in this article. Very well done, Games Workshop. Moving ranked units around is much easier with movement trays, and the modular movement tray set allows you to build them to fit your units. It includes 2 200 by 200mm sheets and various pieces of edging, ready to be cut and glued to suit your needs. Alright, so very nice. We have basically some customizable movement trays as well. And then we have a Warhammer the Old World map of the Old World. Warhammer the Old World Celebration Day. On Saturday the 20th of January, the day Warhammer the Old World hits store shelves, Warhammer World is hosting a day of celebration. Immerse yourselves in the world of legend with demo games, a chance to paint a Knight of the Realm on foot, a jousting minigame based on the classic from the 90s issue of White Dwarf, and much more. It's free to enter, and there will be an optional ticket to take part in the Hobby Challenge on that day. Find out more on the Warhammer Old World Facebook page, and get your Hobby Challenge tickets here. Alright, so quite a lot there. Moving on, we have the Warhammer 40,000 made to order launching the 6th of January. So Warhammer 40k made to order. The archives are opening for a brief period of January. A range of classic Warhammer 40,000 models will be available to order. 2 Necron Overlords, one with Staff of Light, the other with Resurrection Orb, will be joined by the classic Cryptek, as well as an upgrade kit to turn a plastic destroyer into a Destroyer Lord. All 4 of these kits are resin, as is Huron Blackheart, the opportunistic Chaos Space Marine Master of the Red Corsairs. If you're more into machines, a metal Iron Warriors Warsmith will make an excellent Chaos Lord or Exalted Champion. A host of resin miniatures, originally released by Forge World, will also be available on made-to-order. Space Marine commanders can add a range of resin heroes to their armies, including Luft Huron, Chapter Master of the Astral Claws, from before he led into the Maelstrom. You'll also find Severin Loth of the Red Scorpions, along with his honor guard, not pictured, and more Red Scorpions in the regions of the Orden Rift, comprising Kasan Sabius and Sire Karagan, complete with diorama bases. The Landspeeder Tempest, meanwhile, will add some fast firepower to any Space Marine collection. Alright, so very cool. Lots of old school resin stuff that was previously Forge World only, coming back for a limited time, made to order, including the pylon, which I don't believe was listed as well. So very cool for people that are after any of that stuff. Games Workshop is definitely leaning in hard on the made to order stuff lately with the launch of the Old World. And just a note here, Necron Overlords can enhance their forces with some serious heavy firepower in the form of the Necron Sentry Pylon, armed with Terrifying Death Ray, as well as a set of Singularity Generators, a weapon option for the Seraptic Heavy Construct. All of these items will be available from the 6th of January and are made to order, delivered within 180 days. Okay, and then from Black Library we have the Lords of the Lance. Immerse yourself in the lore of Warhammer, the old world, with the first new novel in that setting since 2016. Written by Graham McNeil, author of the Legends of Sigmar series, and many more tales set in the world of legend. Lord of the Lance follows a Bretonnian crusade to rescue a noble prince held captive in the land of the dead. Two rival knights form an uneasy alliance to save him, but can honor and duty overcome their enmity as they face untold horrors? So we have a hardbook, ebook, and MP3 formats. For true children of Bretonnia, there's also a stunning special edition of the Lords of the Lance, which features a bespoke cover bedecked in foil, along with color pages inside featuring the art from the standard edition and a full color map. Each copy is signed by the author and numbered from an edition of 1500 and includes new material in the form of an introduction by Graham McNeil and an appendix, the Journal of Abratus Ivatorum. So very cool, 1500 limited if you're after this. Very nicely done too, very well executed. Really, really nice product here. And then we have the End Times, Fall of Empires, and Blight Slayer. And then finally we have White Dwarf, issue 496. Your monthly dose of new Warhammer content is incoming, with 144 pages of full-on hobby articles for you to devour. This month's highlights include new rules for Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol, Warhammer Quest Cursed City, and siege battles in Warhammer Age of Sigmar, alongside the epic culmination of the Slide Crown Sundering campaign. A card section includes the scenarios for the month, plus data cards for using Vanguard Space Marines in your Combat Patrol games. Alright, so very cool. Vanguard Space Marines in Combat Patrol games. Awesome. So there is an absolute ton of stuff. Sorry if I shorten this up a little too much. I do encourage people, if they're interested, particularly in the old world, to go ahead and check out the article and some of the descriptions for the individual units that are coming out, but did not want to make this video multiple hours long. It's already very much on the long side, as there is a ton of stuff going on here. So as always, I'll kind of drop my 2 cents here at the end. This is definitely a massive dump of models. We saw a lot of made to order recently, and then also I expect with this much old stuff coming all at once, there's definitely going to be some supply issues. So I would fully expect this range to be available from here on out, with the exception of the actual big boxes themselves. I think those will be limited, but other than that, anything that sells out, I would imagine will come back in time. I'm not sure what's going to be popular. A lot of these units have been very hard to get for a very, very long time. Some of them like 10 years, others closer to 20 years. So if you are feeling that FOMO, I would imagine there's going to be a big push into Warhammer the Old World initially, and then I would imagine over time it'll slow back down, and then slowly but surely you'll be able to get the stuff that you need. So let me know what you're most excited about, what you're going to be picking up, how you feel about the actual launch itself and this being handled. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Obviously we have some big made to order stuff coming up again. Not just the Battle for Macragge, but a bunch of other stuff coming in this week as well. Remember that all this stuff will be available for pre-order on January 6th, and the pre-order period is 2 weeks from here on out. So it's not going to be until the end of January that this stuff will actually be coming out. I do think that the big boxes for Tomb Kings and Bretonnia will sell out relatively quickly, and I don't think they will be re-offered anytime soon. So if you are after those, if you're going to be getting into the game, I would definitely not hesitate to pick those up. So let me know what you're excited about in the comments, what you're going to be picking up. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and it looks like we're headed back to Warhammer the Old World. And I'm out of here.